Thanks, Megan and Camilla.
Next up, we have our economics section with Chase Hookwater and Ross DeYoung. They are going to give us an overview on how sports films and economics intersect using Marxist critique. Over to you, Chase.
Thanks, Neil. I'm Chase Hookwater.
And I'm Ross DeYoung.
The general Marxist critique questions how a text shows economics and power struggles.
In many sports films, the sports actually mirror economics in different ways. For example, coaches will often treat their players like commodities that can be bought and sold and used for winning. Players are simply seen as a means to an end.
Speaking of winning, that is the specific element of sports films that holds the highest cash value. That means that winning is actually worth more than losing. That can be traded in for specific things such as popularity, respect, and prestige.
Very true, Chase. There's a lot more to be gained from winning than from losing. But winning comes at a cost. The team must invest hard work and time and sacrifice all other aspects of life in order to succeed.
We can even see the economics of sports films in the language you are using. We speak of the payoff of hard work, teams investing and sacrificing, and the cost of rewards of winning.
Very good observations, Chase. Sit tight there, viewers. There will be more talk of Marxist perspective later on in the program. For now, we return you to the lovely Pollyanna and Neil.
A special thanks to experts Chase and Ross. Fantastic. That's some interesting stuff, Pollyanna.
Indeed it is, Neil. This just in. Our weather correspondent, Summer Days, is down at the big game with some rather unusual weather conditions.
24-hour CAS severe weather team is on the case. How's everything holding up down there, Summer?
I'm your weather correspondent, Summer Days, reporting down at the field to watch out for the weather during the game. As you can see, what started out as a perfectly temperate autumn day has regressed into one of the most torrential blizzards this county has ever seen. The players are tense, the fans are frozen. Coincidentally, this all began as the game began. Back to you, Pollyanna.
Hang in there, Summer. How about that, Neil?
That's Michigan weather for you, folks.
Indeed it is. Up next in our program, we have a team of experts who've done some very interesting interviews of a wide variety of people down at the big game.
Our experts are then going to analyze the different outlooks people have about the meaning of the game.
Let us now go to our team of experts. Team?
Hello, my name is Chase Hookwater, and I'm a preferred Marxist analyst.
And I'm Ainsley Reinders, a Marxist feminist.
And I'm Ross DeYoung, an oppositional Marxist analyst. And we have some very interesting interviews to share with you this morning.
Yes, indeed.
I'll start with my interview of Mrs. Peabody following last night's game. Roll the tape.
Hi, I'm Chase Hookwater. I'm here after the game with Mrs. Peabody, the mother of the star from Titans, John Peabody. So, Mrs. Peabody, what an exciting game. Your son had an all-star performance and helped his unranked Titans beat the #1 Bears. What are your feelings about this game?
I am so proud of him and his team. I knew we were considered the underdog, but because the boys worked as hard as they could and wanted it the most, they got the win. I knew they would do it.
Yes, it was a very impressive game. Do you come and support your son at all of his games, even the away ones?
Well, I wouldn't miss them for the world. I have a daughter with a solo in her choir concert tonight, but there's no way that I would miss a game like this for that.
How does your daughter feel about that?
Oh, she's fine. She understands how important these games are.
Yes, of course. Is this victory even more enjoyable for you because your team was the underdogs?
Definitely. Everyone loves the underdog. When I'm watching a game on TV, I always root for the underdog. It's always so much more exciting.
Very true. Well, thank you for your time, Mrs. Peabody, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Mrs. Peabody responded in a way that is very easily interpreted and analyzed through a preferred Marxist critique. What I mean by preferred Marxist critique is that in every artifact in text, there's a preferred reading. This reading is the most obvious or straightforward texts that are being portrayed in a given artifact. So in this instance, the artifact being discussed is that of sports. The most straightforward text when it comes to sports is the desire to win. The reason why Mrs. Peabody is so proud and feels as happy as she does is because her son's team won. If we want to take the preferred reading to a much broader level, we can say that the fact that she even went to the basketball game is a preferred text. In the interview, Mrs. Peabody claimed that her daughter had a choir concert that same night, which she was missing. This solidifies the fact that sports are valued over a lot of other activities in our culture. Another preferred reading that can be taken out of the interview is that of the desire for the underdog to succeed. Mrs. Peabody is not alone in her feelings for cheering for the less likely victor, and by her doing so, she is actually part of the preferred reading because a majority of people root for the underdog. After analyzing this interview, I have concluded that Mrs. Peabody's response also fits well with the preferred reading of the common American sports film. First of all, there is a desire to win. Not only the team, but the people viewing the movie as well prefer the portrayed team to win whatever game they are in. This team that the audience prefers goes on to win in sports movies 90% of the time, solidifying the idea that the preferred text is winning. Another part of the interview that translates well into a sports film critique is that of cheering for the underdog team. There are countless sports movies today that focus in on a struggling team and watch them overcome major obstacles, work as hard as they can, and beat the better team. This is a very unique critique because, in this case, the weak have the power. The weak have the power because that's who the audience prefers to win. And because movies and media sell to the audience, it's obvious that the underdog team will win.
Let's now take a look at my interview. I talked to a woman named Sassafras Earthpiece. She had a very different view on things. I'm here with Sassafras Earthpiece, a local senior at Titan High. Great game tonight, isn't it?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, it's okay. I'm not really into sports.
So what brings you to the game?
I'm actually trying to make a social statement to show how, there's so much brutality in sports. I mean, the guys hate each other. They're constantly pummeling each other's bodies, and it's so clear to see that the fans absolutely hate each other from the other sides.
I see.
I mean, if it were up for me to decide, I would say that everyone should quit sports and just do theater or choir or plant community gardens or trees or sit together and sing instead.
I see. And how do you feel about this great new coach helping out the team?
He's the worst. He's just perpetuating the idea that harsh and uncaring and brutal people are what facilitates winning. I mean, he just forgets the importance of friends and love.